All right, welcome back to Life It with DVD. Thanks for being here. Today, I wanted to follow up on yesterday's video about human design, strategy, and authority. Um, Love talking about this stuff. It's absolutely fascinating and it has been such a powerful self differentiation tool for me in terms of just getting to know your own psychology, your own awareness, and how others perceive you as well. Um, and, you know, yesterday I had talked about strategy and authority. So that's your best decision making strategy and how you do it. But what I would have liked to include it a little bit more about is the auras and what that looks like and how that can impact people because ultimately everything in our world is electromagnetic. Um, the world is filled with electricity. The cells that are powering our body are electricity. It's electric. Powered by the sun, right? it's everything is really frequency and vibration. And when we think of ourselves, right, we're no different. We have an energetic aura that we are putting out to others, and that comes through in our human design as well. So I wanted to just kind of get that sort of aura out there to each different type and just kind of elaborate on each of them. So what is your aura? So it's an electromagnetic energy field. It's how you exchange energy with the world, and your type is defined by whether your aura is open or closed, or how your chart is defined versus undefined. So I'm throwing around a lot of terms right now. So if your chart is open, or sorry, if your certain areas of your chart are defined, that means that you have a consistent energy between them. And once again, I realize that having a image or visual would really help. But I will work on that in the future, getting that up there, and maybe looking at my own human design and others, because it's all absolutely fascinating and such a powerful tool in my opinion. So, in looking at these auras, right, we can have very different ones. So let me just jump into it here, right? So there's 5 different auras and their impact. So the generator aura is going to be an open and enveloping aura. Its quality is going to be inviting, warm. It's going to be like a field that draws other people in, like a magnetic vortex. Think of the toroidic field, like in the Tesla coils. How the energy will come up through your head and then spiral out, kind of like in a big sphere, and then circle back around your body. And I mean, it's really the Earth's magnetic poles. I'm trying to think of a good example here, and that's probably the best one that you've would have seen. But the aura then filters up through the middle of Earth or yourself, and then spits out the top again, and turns as the energy cycles. So it's like a magnetic vortex that pulls opportunities, people, and questions towards it. So the impact on the strategy and authority is that because it's open, this is why people have to respond to what they're pulling into their vortex. The power is in the response. This is why it's so important to be responsive, not reactive. And this is why generators have that sacral authority. That is their gut and the motor that is responding with, the and is what the aura is attracting, right? The aura is filtering right through there and is able to kind of pull in the things that it wants or doesn't want, and the body will know before your mind does. So, if you get this wrong, right, as a generator, if you're initiating things, if you're striving, you're reaching out with your energy instead of letting things be drawn to you, you're going to meet resistance and that frustration that we talked about yesterday. So the generator's aura is going to have a natural kind of feel to it, natural pull. So the manifesting generator going to be very similar. It might be a little bit more of a rapid, maybe a little bit more of an intense aura, or a busy aura, but it's going to take that energy quickly and move it at maybe a faster pace than a generator would. But ultimately, this energy is still open and enveloping and about getting things done. It's just going to have a quicker feel to it. So ultimately, this is an open aura. The core strategy is also to respond here. It's going to move faster, probably because it has that manifesting component to it, where it's going to want to just inform and then just get it done. Ultimately, I feel like I'm covering a lot of yesterday's video, but this is about having that engine and then having the ability to put it into action. So if this is a car, right, it's maybe the engine and the wheels to get it going, where the engine is ultimately just powering, the drive shaft and everything else that puts the vehicle into motion. So, where this can be wrong is, ultimately a manifestor generator that's initiating. So just like the generator, initiating without responding first will create massive frustration and anger, from or towards the people or environments with the resistance that are being created. So, ultimately, I am a manifestor generator. In the past, when I have not been operating properly, I mean, this is just the anger and frustration. It's been it was chronic. It was a chronic anger and frustration that really it sucked. Frankly, it sucked. It felt like everybody in my environment just was not on my wavelength, and I was like pulling in the wrong people because I was in the wrong environment. Dogs. But I was pulling the wrong people into my life, and I was doing it for reasons that was through the mind, not through my sacral center, where I would have the best authority to be, making these decisions from. I wasn't responding. I was reacting to the environment, and my aura was pulling all these people in, but I was just letting everybody in instead of letting my body decide, is this right? So moving on to the third, that's the manifestor aura. Manifestor aura is closed and repelling. It's a thick, closed, and repelling aura. These people might feel more of a turnoff, or just turned off in general towards you. You might kind of get that impression. It's not that they aren't. It's just that is the energy that they will have as a manifestor. Because ultimately, they're not supposed to be bringing things in. They're supposed to be generating the ideas from their closed system of, this is what I want to create. This is what, these are the ideas that need to be put out there. And then these ideas can draw in the generators, the manifesting generators, to get, and the projectors, reflectors, to just get the work done. So, this can feel like an intimidating energy, to other people, right? I know two manifestors very well, and they are, they're great people, and but at the same time, sometimes they come off a little closed, or like they're just kind of too busy, or you can really see it in their energy that um, they're not closed off. It's just this is their aura. Um, so it might just be an impression that they might be cold people when they're absolutely not. But this is how they are supposed to be, right? They're supposed to have that intimidating energy to other people. Um, but it's designed to make an impact and make things happen ultimately. So because this is a closed, aura, right? It is designed to initiate. This energy is going to repel people unless it's the right idea, the right situation. And ultimately, they got to inform to reduce the fear and resistance it creates in other people, right? They have to tell other people what they're doing. That way, everybody else is like, oh, okay, they're just operating according to their best decision making, and nothing is wrong. They're not, closed off or anything. But that is how they need to be going through life, right? That is their authority. This, and ultimately, this boils down to emotional or splenic or heart. I probably can do another video on those at some other time. But this is their primary life strategy, and it's about managing impact through informing. So a manifestor who doesn't inform, will get this anger. They're going to feel like they're battling the resistance in others because they don't understand. Others don't understand that they're not being cold and closed off. This is just who they are with their repelling aura. All right, so number 4, the projector aura. This is going to be a focused and absorbing aura. It's going to penetrate people, and it's not going to radiate out and be open and enveloping like the generators. It's going to be really focused on deeply understanding the energy of others. So because it is an open aura, but it is not here to do the workhorse part of it. It's here to guide, right? Its strategy is to wait for that invitation to let them absorb you, because that is that sign that their aura has been recognized, and then the guidance that they're able to provide by focusing on you is valued, and that is what will make them feel satisfied. And so they'll be able to discern, which invitations are correct for them. Where they can get it wrong, right? A projector that is trying to guide people without invitation, it's going to work like a generator and absorb bitterness and exhaustion. It's not going to absorb bitterness. It's going to absorb that frustration and exhaustion, and then, right, that will lead to the bitterness because they'll be wondering, why aren't my gifts, my insight, my discernment not being valued by others? Well, they might not have been invited in, right? They might have been around a generator that didn't invite them to, or a manifesting generator to do something, and they want to give their guidance and penetrate and absorb their aura, but they were never welcomed in there in the first place, and ultimately that will lead to some bitterness. From my own personal experience, I knew a projector a long time ago, and there was definitely a bitterness to when I'd spurn his kind of insight on things, because ultimately I saw things a different way. but he wasn't waiting for the invitation for me to ask him about, like, well, what do you think about this? Which, ultimately it's interesting. So 5, the last one, is the reflector aura, and that is resistant in sampling. It's going to be a very translucent aura, like a mirror, designed to reflect everything in the health of the community, the environment, the person. So it's just going to take in things, but it's very important for them to spit them out, right? Because if they're taking in these things and absorbing them like a projector, then they're going to feel constantly disappointed because they're not making choices based on a temporary energy that they have sampled. They're going to be taking in the energy that they've sampled, thinking it's them, but not their true reflection. So ultimately, right, they have to wait 28 days. This follows the lunar cycle. And they just have to take things in, sample them, and then spit them out to be able to make a good decision on them and how it feels, and if it feels correct over time, rather than just a quick snapshot. So ultimately, your strategy isn't a random rule. It's an instruction manual for your unique energy field. Frustration, anger, bitterness, disappointment. Obviously, we all can feel these things. But if you look at your type, if you're feeling one of them more than another, it's probably hallmark that you're in the not self. You're not in the right environment with the right people, doing the right thing. So pay attention to what you might feel that not self, energy coming from. What are those things that are aggravating you the most, that are giving the most frustration, or making you the most bitter? How does that come up, right? Write it down in a journal, right? Look at your human design chart. See if there is some correlation there. And, once again, human design is very deep, can go very, 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 very deep. And this is just a surface layer mechanism to look at your best decision making and ultimately your energy that you're bringing to the equation in each and every day. And if you are bringing that right energy, or if you're just really in the wrong environment all the time, so your energy just is off and you feel like you're constantly making bad decisions, which nobody wants to feel like. So ultimately, following this strategy allows your aura to operate correctly, and it's going to attract the right people, the opportunities for you, and ultimately repel the right ones. Think about your interactions today. Where did you feel you're not self? You think your aura might have just been misused, right? Focus on that strategy and authority, and just think about how you might be able to better respond, or wait to be invited, or maybe you just gotta wait a longer period of time, or tell people what you're doing, right? Different strategy for each of us. So these are just the 5 main types of self-differentiation within human design with that strategy and authority. Let me know if you like this or not. Like and subscribe would mean a lot. Let me know what your own strategy and authority is, and I'd be happy to help look at it with you. So until next time, thanks for watching, and see you later.